Hello everybody, welcome to G2 Bionicle Skeleton War! Don't let your dreams become memes.
Oh my god.
Welcome back to the first review of the Skeleton War G2 Bionicle sets starring Ekimu Man and Kulta Grindor Man.
It's not even his set, it's mine.
Yeah, it is. This is Junie's set. I'm reviewing it because she's here and I get to play with it, and I figured, hey, I'll buy mine eventually, so let's just review mine now, or review hers now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, first and foremost, the biggest reason why people like to get this set. Not only for Ekimu, but you get a rare mask. Well, not really a rare mask.
It's a legendary mask.
A legendary mask, let's say that.
It's the mask of creation.
The mask of creation. Which I gotta say, it's a legendary mask, it's really important, but I didn't see it as necessarily, cool. It's cool looking, but I thought it'd be a lot smaller, I thought it'd be thinner. It's as tall as I thought it would be, but it's also wider. This is a very big mask. I mean, a lot of the masks now are kind of small in comparison to, old G1 masks, so this is, kind of on par. Also, I think it's super rad that he comes with a stand, except the fact that if you were to close these pieces up together tightly like you normally would, his mask would just flop right down. So that's a thing. So if you want to fix that, you just take these lift arm bits and kind of pull them apart just a bit to the point where you can get friction and have it stand upright like that. If you're picking up this set solely for the mask, I think you're getting a lot more better things than this mask, but I think it's a really cool looking thing. And I'm really excited to see people do some custom paint jobs to this thing and make it look really rustic and cool. That would be awesome. So yeah, that's Ekimu's mask. I'm going to review Ekimu first, because that's one of the reasons why people really want to get this set. And just for the sake of it, let's just show off the mask now. I mean, when he comes with a protector mask, which is his burial mask, oh hey, he's naked, his face is naked, let's cover up his face. And so they gave him a golden protector mask. But if you were to use his normal mask of creation, I think it looks really weird on him. I don't think it fits.
You're being weird.
I think it's a very nice mask. I love the way this thing looks. From promotional images and just seeing it in person, I love this mask. It's just, it doesn't work, not on any mock per se, but it just doesn't work on Ekimu. The mask is super detailed, and this guy is kind of, not sleek and smooth, but he's a lot more simplistic. I feel like this belongs in a much larger looking guy. In fact, the combination model with the... Sorry about that, guys. There's something that came up. My display fell over, my light just crashed down. It sucked. But again, this mask is super cool. The combination model between these guys and Skull Scorpio, I think, look way... this mask is more fitting for that. It's a larger, more... I want to say complex build by the nature of it. I mean, inherently it's not, but in comparison to everyone else, yeah, it's a complex build. So, yeah, I like the way this mask looks, but I think it looks better on its own. I don't think it looks good on Ekimu himself. And I don't know if we ever actually get a Makuta, if it's going to have the same level of detail. I want to assume it will. I don't know. But, trying to get it back on the stand here. Oh, there we go. Mission accomplished. So for the rest of the review, he's going to have his normal protector mask. Which, Ekimu, yeah, you're paying, if you're going to consider Kulta a $15 Toa-like set, you're paying $10 other for the protector. And he definitely has a lot more parts. He has a gearbox, which, hey man, the gearbox function on this guy, it works. This guy can go. I mean, it's a little bit loose, it's a little bit more floppy. I don't know why. Just going back and forth like this. Oh!
He's buff and tough.
Ah! 5-star review. So, I like this guy a lot, because I feel like he fixed everything that the Protector of Fire had wrong with him. I love the way Protector of Fire looks, I love his proportions, but there were some things wrong with him. And his legs are the same, His torso is kind of the same. The only real difference is that he has a gearbox, which is the same. It's the same width, believe it or not. Like, instead of having two clitorian necks, there's a gearbox there. So the proportions are the same there, and he has elbows. So he's definitely a lot more posable than most of the protectors. And I like the way he looks a lot. He has one really cool weapon and one really dumb weapon. The cool weapon, obviously, being his hammer, which I think is very awesomely represented, very short, very stout. Gets things done.
But it's a hammer gun.
It's a hammer gun because if you turn this around, he shoots studs out of it. And man, I gotta say, seeing this launcher in a translucent color, I think is really cool. I think it's a really cool illusion just to be like, yo, secret weapon, this thing can shoot studs, even though in the animations that just came out, it showed him shooting this thing like a motherfucker. So, I don't know, man. But the dumb thing is his shield, which it looks very cool. I love this ornate, like, I think it was like Disney princess, like, wheel thing. And the saw blade. The saw blade, I don't know. I think he could have been better off without the saw blade. But he has the same type of shield that the Protector of Ice does, where you can hold it like this, and it looks more like a gun than anything else. And you can hold it off to the side, where the gimmick works a bit better. But he can only still hold it like this with his wrist bent all the way in to make it look like a proper shield. Which, it's a better look. I think it looks a lot better. And also you get these shoulder armor that were not released in America because the second wave of Ekimu construction sets never came out here. Super dumb.
That's what the internet is for.
Internet. Do I think this set is worth it for Ekimu alone? I don't think so. I think getting the mask and Ekimu, I think that's a really awesome package. And I think Ekimu is awesome. I don't think he's still not my favorite protector. But I think he's up there. If I had to rank them between the 7 now, I think it's probably my second favorite. With Korgo or Korgot being the one in first place, the Protector of Earth. But yeah, he's super cool. I think getting this Madanui-like figure, who may not matter after this next wave of Bionicle, who the hell knows. I think it's super cool that we got Ekimu this early on. So then we move on to the guy that I'm not sure a lot of people really care about all that much, and we move on to Kulta, who is the Skull Grinder. And he turned out better than I thought he would be. In fact, a lot of these skeleton dudes turned out a lot better than I thought they would be. I'm just going to hit some bits that I really like about him. His mask, his face, this skull mask. It's tiny. It's smaller than I expected, but I love this face so much. Like, this looks like a skull. Like, this looks menacing and, like, scary. I love it so much. If this does not get recolored in black or white, it will be a sore disappointment. It looks super rad. I might use it, in fact. But also, we got the weird thing where, like, if you want to knock it off, you can just, like, flick his horns up. I mean, it's not as bad as Skull Basher from what I hear, but you can just be like, oh, doopadoo, I'm gonna fight you, and then just go, oh no, my mask is gone, ah!
Well, that's what Tahu did in the commercial, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess for the sake of, oh no, I've been totally out of focus this whole time. Whoops! Let's put the Mask of Creation on him. Yeah! That looks pretty dumb. That looks pretty dumb. Especially when you have giant horns there. But, yeah, I like this mask a lot. I think it looks cool. For the whole figure, however, I think... Yes, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the skeleton bits, these not femurs.
But they're being used for femurs.
Being used for femurs, yes. So, it looks like you can't do a lot with this, and realistically you can't. I think it's a nice looking piece, but it doesn't do all that much. And then, by sheer happenstance, I discovered when we were playing around with these sets, when Junie and I were... Because I was building Skull Slicer and she was building this guy. I discovered you take this and you take a bit of CCBS armor, and not that way, this way. It clips in this way. Oh, it doesn't clip. It just frictions onto this bit. It doesn't seem like anything's getting stressed by doing this, but it does clip onto here. Well, friction onto here. And you can kind of move it up and down, or you can just clip onto the ball joint, whatever. So that's a connection, which it's okay. I mean, it's nothing different than a normal CCBS bone. I mean, if you want to, like, the only difference is like, oh look, here's the same size one except in silver and no actual ball joint. But it's a new feature. Well, not a new feature. It's a feature we didn't expect. Like, I think it's on the level of surprise that when we discovered when we got the new masks and we figured out, oh man, they can clip on over hand connectors and clip over other things.
That still didn't really surprise me.
It surprised me. I don't know.
Oh, it's the same width.
Well, I didn't expect it to be the same width.
I did.
Well. So yeah. I think these bone pieces are really cool, especially now that they have another feature that wasn't really documented. And maybe isn't legal, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually a legal technique. But I think in terms of for the look of this guy, I think he's the most egregious of the ones I've handled, because his chest is super hollow. Like, super hollow.
That boob job.
That boob job. You also get this small CCBS piece. You get that tiny one in trans orange, which is awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I think he looks okay. Skull Slicer ended up being a lot cooler than I thought. I think Grinder looks okay. I think he's the most well-rounded out of all the Skull villains in terms of having a humanoid proportion.
He's also a face stealer.
He is a face stealer. You can take people's faces. So speaking of the Skull Slicer, I'm gonna grab him and put him right. Oh man, he is glowing in this video recording.
Oh wow.
Oh man. So here's Skull Slicer, and the gimmick of Skull Grinder is that he get his little staff here, which, by the way, with the gear function, he can barely hold it up because it's such a giant weapon. But like, use Derek fixes. Lego Jang has a fix on his channel where you put more gears inside of him, and he'll have the friction. But you can take this staff, which is an alright looking staff, until you realize, oh wait, these pieces are flexible enough to where they're meant to actually grab something. So it works the best with Skull Slicer because of the shape of the mask. So if I just take his face, oh, there we go, and just try and clamp that on. Like, I'll pull off the mask, and it's very hit and miss in terms of getting the mask, like, stuck in here. Okay, like, right here, that works. Like, the mask is, like, caught inside of his staff. It doesn't stay all that well. But when it comes to pulling the mask off, I think it's a really cool gimmick. Like, I thought it'd be, like, a half-assed thing of just, like, hey, man, whatever. Like, you can't actually pull off the mask. That's just, like, we just jam these pieces together and something happens. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really cool gimmick. What else should I talk about with this set? I might as well talk about the armor pieces as well. They look a lot cooler than I thought they would from pictures. I like the way they look. Again, I wish they come out in more colors. Otherwise, hey guys, I'm gonna give you a hint. Use this as a helmet because it looks like a really good helmet. So now everyone's gonna use it. Otherwise, pretty standard. I have no idea at all how long recordings last. This camera can only record 10 minutes at a time, so a lot of jump cuts in this one. I'm sorry! But, as I was stating before, I realized the camera wasn't recording. So I think these sets, having both of these guys together in one box is awesome. However, take this for what you will. If Ekimu was sold by himself to be like a $15 like special protector set, yeah, I would have bought him. I would have definitely still bought him because he's Ekimu, and you know, you get a legendary mask. Like, that's rad. Kulta, if he was sold for $15, I would not have picked him up first. I feel like I would have waited to get him because I'm going to end up getting all of them to begin with. But he's okay. Like, all the Skull villains ended up being a lot better than I expected. I only messed with a couple of them, but it feels like, again, from also what I've seen online, they look way better in person than they do online.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So, I don't know, like, if I had to pick a different Skull villain, I would have got Slicer or Basher first. I would not have gotten Grinder. But the fact you get both of these guys together, like, you get, like, not a mediocre Toa-sized figure, but you get a pretty decent one and a really cool protector with a legendary mask. And I feel like for $30, you're getting your money's worth. So I recommend getting this set. This is probably the main set people are looking forward to getting just because of the legendary mask. But I think you're getting a lot of stuff out of this set. I think the Skull villain is awesome. I think Ekimu is great. Legendary mask is awesome. It's worth the money. I think so. So yeah, this is Shadow Gear 635. I hope you all enjoyed the review. Sorry for all the little problems throughout the review. There was some stuff going on. So this is Shadow Gear 635. I'll see you folks another time. Honore Decana!